What's up, my friends? What's up? What's up? What's up? Let me adjust the aperture here a little bit. Stop it down. There we go. What's up, my friends? If you're watching this, welcome to our Wednesday night lives. As you guys know, I try to do these as much as possible with the travel schedule that I've had the last couple of months or a couple of weeks, I should say. This last month, it's been really crazy for me to be able to get on here. And I have to say that the light is harsher today. It's at 1% on the Neo 2. My sons have been in here playing while I've been gone, and they took the diffusers off of my Neo 2. So I'm going to have a little chat with them about that. But regardless, we're going to have a great time. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Start this off with a bang. But thank you for watching, guys. I have a lot to discuss with you. I'm going to answer your questions, but first I'm just going to get through some material, simply because I want these to not just be a banter back and forth, which I love, but I also want these to be something that is educational for you, so you're edified from this experience that we have together. So thank you for being here. This is March 3rd, 2021. We're starting off, we're pretty much a year into COVID now. It's just crazy town. But just recently, I had the chance to shoot with the Sony A1, and it was really, it's quite a camera. If you guys haven't watched, I released a brand new video on the A1 just 2 days ago, I think. I was down in Miami, and I shot with the A1, which was really a pretty incredible experience. For those who follow me, you guys know that I released a video a couple weeks ago saying, hold off on the A1 until you know that you really need it. And the reason for that is because if you're looking at something like the A1, that's really built just for pro photographers. It really is. Today, I did a Patreon session. I had somebody ask me whether or not they have a A7R3, an A7S3, and an A7 III, and they're saying, should I sell all of those to get a A1? And I said, absolutely not. Now, if you're watching this, listening to this, whatever it may be, you may think that I am anti-A1. I'm not at all. I think the A1 is a pretty incredible camera. In fact, even when I did my video on it, I said it was going to be the best camera in the world. But and when I shot it, it really is quite a phenomenal camera. It really is the things. Okay, let me just state what stood out to me from the camera first. If you watched my video, what really intrigued me the most about the A1 when it was announced was the fact that it gave you the opportunity to shoot with electronic shutter flash. I think that is definitely going to be a way of the future. So that electronic shutter flash on the A1 is ridiculous. If you haven't seen the video, guys, go check it out. It's only 5 minutes long. It's the video that I just released 2 days ago. And it shows me using the Rotolite Titan X1 with the A1 at 30 frames per second. And that's pretty remarkable. So if you happen to be a photographer that does high-end ballet, performance arts, sports photography, if you're shooting sports portraiture and you want to get an athlete flying through the air and you want to freeze frame it with flash, that could be an opportunity to do that. Now, the only caveat to all of that is the electronic shutter flash only goes up to 1/200th of a second. So that is the downside of that, is it only goes up to 1/200th of a second. So if you're shooting something that is significantly fast, it's going to have blur in it, and that's just the truth. So I was really excited because I think that electronic shutter flash, when you combine it with LED technology and LED flash, it's going to result in some really amazing shots. And I think that more than anything, I think what excites me about the A1 is the fact that it means that that's going to be the technology that we see down the road and in the future. So I think that that's very cool. The real-time eye autofocus on the A1 is really phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. And it really kept up with the eyes when I was shooting portraits with it as well. The other thing about it that I really did like is I do like the memory card slot on it. I do like the fact that you have to push it down and push it. You have to pull it down and push it up to actually access that. So it's much more secure than any of the other cameras that Sony has released to this date. Now, I say all of this in talking about cameras and stuff. I want to let all of you out there know I am going to start shooting Canon and Fuji. I am really going to start shooting some different camera brands. So you're going to see me shooting with some Fuji cameras, which is just kind of funny to me. And you're going to see me shooting with some Canon cameras. And it's because, you know, I don't really have much more to do with Sony. Nothing excites me from it. And that's not a negative on Sony. It's just, you know, there's a reason why I haven't bought any new cameras. It's because anything coming out hasn't been very exciting to me. The A1 is really cool. But again, I already have what I need, is the honest truth. So I might play with the Fuji, what is that, the FX100S or some GFX S1. Play with the Canon R5. That's an interesting one. So I'm going to be doing that. So just keep that in the background. Fun stories. I've recently traveled to Tennessee. We were shooting inside of a prison, the Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. And even though we had access to be there, we actually ended up getting thrown out of there. So that was hilarious. It's only I can get thrown out of a place that I'm given access to shoot. And that's because the people who do the ghost hunts there didn't like the fact that we were in there doing a live stream ghost hunt. So that was really funny. I don't think they wanted us to expose the fact that maybe there aren't some of the spookiness, the spooky things that they think are going on there, or they purport to going on. I think that they didn't like the fact that we were doing that. So that was funny. I was in the Everglades. We were shooting with alligators and crocodiles. That was super cool. Played with some smoke bombs. I was at the Miami Marine Stadium in Florida. Florida's awesome, man. I might move to Florida. Florida is awesome. Florida is great, man. It's like freedom. I feel like Mel Gibson and Braveheart. Every time I go to Florida, I'm like, freedom. It's like, you know, it's living in California. We don't even know what that is anymore. So it really is pretty cool to go to a place like Florida. If you guys remember a couple of years ago, 5-6 years ago, actually, I shot at the Miami Marine Stadium. I got busted there. And when I did that, the cops showed up. Good times, great times by all. And so I decided to go make a second journey to Miami Marine Stadium this last time. And when I went down there, it's quite different. You can actually park next to it now, but they do have a gate surrounding it, whereas before they did not. We set off a smoke bomb in there. That attracted the cops. So I I set off a smoke bomb. If you guys look at my Instagram feed, there's a picture of a model in purple. It's called Purple Haze. That's a smoke bomb that I set off. So I told her before, I said, as soon as I set this off, we got to book it. And so that was the last thing we did. So just a little pointer to everyone out there. If you're going to set off smoke bombs, make sure it's the last thing that you're going to do. And also, I want to really state this very unequivocally. If you do set off a smoke bomb, please do it in a place where you're not going to set a fire. The whole reason why I didn't do smoke bombs any other locations was, you know, I went out to the Everglades. I went out everywhere. I was really very concerned. I did not want to set off a fire at all. And I think that's a responsibility that we have to take very seriously as photographers. I'd rather get in trouble with the cops for setting off a smoke bomb in a concrete place than I would destroying anything in nature. We need to be very mindful and good stewards of the environment as photographers. I really, really believe in that. So we had a really great time doing that. And then not the GFX 100, it's the 100S. It's the smaller version of it. I don't want that monster thing. That I don't want that. No, someone's in the comments saying that. So at any rate, yeah, John, no joke. I might move down to Florida in a year or two. You never know what'll happen. You never, ever know what'll happen. From there, God, we did some crazy stuff. We shot in the Everglades. I got alligators to hiss at me. That was super cool. My man Keith, he's on the live stream here. Keith was filming with me. He was on his GoPro. He was on his GoPro filming, and I asked him to move the rope for the model, and he tripped over the C-stand and did a face plant right into the rocks. And so I had to perform first aid to Mr. Keith there at the Miami Marine Stadium, which was fun. But all in all, guys, just a really fun time that I've had the last couple of weeks. And just one experience that I wanted to share as well. When you collaborate with others, and this is an important thing because this happened to me just this past week, or maybe a week, whatever it is. I'm not going to say who it is, and I'm not going to say for what shoot, because that's not cool to do. But I did collaborate with a number of other professionals. Okay. And Typically at my shoots, if you guys want to know how I roll, typically if you fill out a form with me, when you guys volunteer and you do something with me, you have to complete a form that is a volunteer form that stipulates that there is no recording allowed, no pictures allowed, nothing is allowed. Now, sometimes when people hear those, sometimes, what's up, guys? Sometimes when people hear those parameters that I put in place, they think I'm just trying to be a hard ass. I'm not. What I'm trying to do is make sure that the shoot that we all put so much effort into creating actually has an outcome that is beneficial to all involved. And so we had a makeup artist there, a stylist who was in charge of clothes and shoes and accessories. We had a florist who was creating all sorts of beautiful floral arrangements that were wearable floral arrangements, not your typical floral arrangement just to like a bouquet or a corsage, but actually floral arrangements that are hats and necklaces and really part of the entire ensemble that we're creating. And when I was shooting this, I had mentioned to all of them what my parameters were, and all of them agreed to it. But I'm not going to get into the specifics again, but the lesson that I really want to communicate to all of you is, as I was doing the shoot, they were filming things on their phones and so on and so forth. And I'm noticing that it's happening, but I'm under a time crunch and I want to get this shoot done. And when you guys see the shots and the corresponding video from the shoot, it's really pretty remarkable. It's beautiful work. But the problem is, as they're filming on their phones and stuff, immediately following this, they start posting shots and videos everywhere. And by the way, guys, if you have a question for me, save them for when I'm done speaking. And I just say that so we can keep things clear and concise. So if you guys have a question for me, save it for afterwards, and then I'm more than happy to answer your questions as always. So anyway, they're filming and they're shooting stuff on their cameras and stuff on their phones. And then immediately following, they're posting all of the stuff on their stories and everywhere else. And my biggest takeaway from it was, you guys are diluting the shoot. We've just finished this shoot. Now you're showing every location, every wardrobe, every set, everything. And so when this is not only released to potentially, YouTube and you guys, it's also exclusivity as it pertains to releasing it to publications, magazines. A lot of these magazines will want exclusivity, meaning they will want to be the only ones to have published said image. So if you publish it otherwise, you're ruining that opportunity for exclusivity, which means it could ruin your opportunity to be published. So I just wanted to share that with you as you are looking to expand yourself and you collaborate with others. Make sure that you do so in a way that, and I had to let me finish that thought. Make sure you do it in a way where you are controlling the shoot. You as the photographer are in charge of the shoot, period. I don't care if there's a creative director there. I don't care if there's a stylist, a florist, a makeup artist, or whoever. You are in charge of the shoot, and you have to take that when you're doing it. People are siphoning my content. Yeah, I know. It's really crazy. So it's funny you say that. I really am being much more careful with the content that I'm pushing out because people really are taking it. So at any rate, guys, that's kind of the gist of what I wanted to share with you. I hope that all of you are enjoying yourselves out there in photography land. I am getting the question because I just did my first workshop of the year at ABC Photo Store in Miami, which was a great event. We had 40 plus people come out. We were sold out. We had to limit it to that many people. We wanted 100, but with social distancing guidelines that we wanted to implement to keep people safe, we limited it to 40, and it was standing room only. So, but as we go forward, I wanted to also let you know that there's a convention that we're planning for the first time. I'm going to be headlining a convention, and I've gone to many conventions and been a key speaker and all that stuff, but we've never done one where I'm really headlining. It's like my convention, to be honest. So we're looking to do one of those in Kentucky. So be on the lookout for that for late August. As some of the states in our beautiful country are starting to reopen. Texas just completely reopened today. Florida's been reopened. It's why I've been going to Florida so much. As we continue to do that, I will be releasing and announcing workshops because I want to get out there and start sharing photography and sharing the love of photography. So I really hope that helps all of you out there. And who is that chick's number? I don't know who you're talking about. So at any rate, thank you guys for being here. It's been a really fun experience. You're going to see a lot of cool videos. I'm getting ready to release a video on a shoot that we did in Florida a couple of months ago. So you're going to see me release a video on that. And mark my words, you know, it's funny. I've lost so much weight. I'm very curious because people are always late to the crowd. So I can't really wait to release these videos to people like, wow, Jason, you've gained weight. It's at this point, it's almost funny, and I don't even care anymore. It's actually quite humorous. So Christopher Ketty says, I've done a lot for the film industry, same rules, but there's always someone. Yeah, and that's the problem. It's people think you're trying to be a douchebag when you say no filming, but it's not. And I actually explained to the individuals involved with the project, I said, think of it as a movie trailer. You guys have released the whole movie. I mean, there's a lot of time, money, and effort that goes into these shoots that you're trying to, make it be a profitable experience for everyone involved. And so you have to protect your content. You really do. That's very, very important. So, all right. So now I'm going to start taking questions from you guys. You always hiss at me. Yes, you do. That's because you're like an alligator. You're old. This is Scott Porter. You're old, you're leathery, and you're ornery. Jason, off topic. Have you had that dark area near your left temple checked out? My friend ended up with skin cancer. Oh, this? No, I should go have it checked out, I guess, but thanks for letting me know. They even shoot during your sessions rather than listen and learn. Yes, they do. And, you know, it's funny you say that because that's something I try to articulate at every workshop that I do. And Gabriel, who was at the ABC's event, I always tell the photographers at my workshops or at conventions or whatever it is, I always tell them, you will learn more if you watch. You will truly learn more if you watch than if you just sit there and take pictures the whole time. And that's really true. So just keep that in mind as you're out there learning, my friends. And again, Mark Miller, who is that chick's number? I don't know who you're talking about. Sergeant Crow, good to hear and see you, Jason. Always a pleasure. Thank you. It's good for you to be here. I just want to say thank you very much for the knowledge. Santa Maria de Guadalupe, every time I look at your work and art, thank you. That's very kind of you. Hey, Jason, any tips on cleaning a sensor? Yeah, I would take it to a camera store. I really would recommend taking it to a camera store if you really can. But if you are going to do it on your own, definitely don't do it with a wet wipe and just use the blower if you absolutely have to. I made someone scream recently because I took sand or something as I took a lens off blew into my camera and it was just awful. So I took my undershirt, which was clean, and I wiped my sensor and they just about had a heart attack. I found it to be very comical, but it was good stuff. Melatonin is kicking in. Love your videos. Thank you, Dan. No rings tonight. You lost so much weight. You need to resize them. No, I'm just chilling. I mean, I'm in my hoodie. I'm just in a sweatshirt. Tonight is just a complete, just relax kind of a mood. So that's why there's no rings tonight. Basically you have paparazzi now. Yeah, it's crazy, but you can't complain for the life that you create. You have to take the good and the bad. That's just the honest truth. So, I was down at Oceanside last month, and I had 4 or 5 photographers just in a 45-minute block come and stop me as I was shooting. And I have to remind myself, as much as that can disrupt a shoot, it's very kind that people follow me, and you have to remain grateful for that support versus assuming that they're annoying. You can't. I love you guys, and so I don't look at anybody like that. I really don't. All right, Rebecca, Ginger Snaps, you've been killing on Inside. See what's there, then go running back to see more. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. That's very kind. I have so much content to share. Right now, I'm at home for a while until I plan something else. I'm sure something else will pop up. It always does with me, but you're going to see a lot of content being pushed out because I'm dedicating some of this time to get some older content out. So I really appreciate that. How many days over 10,000 steps? All right, so let's see here. What am I at today? That's my man D-Stand. So today I'm at 4,214 steps, so I have almost 6,000 to go. But I don't know if that'll even show up. Let me see. No, it's overexposed. But I am at 79 days. of 10,000 or more steps. And as much as I want to lose weight and so on and so forth, I cannot tell you, anyone who was shot with me recently will tell you that the profound difference in my movement and my stamina as it relates to walking and just being up and being on my feet all day. It's a profound difference. And so if you have a similar struggle, start walking every day. If you have joints that bother you, if you have back problems, knee problems, ankle problems, hip problems, which I've at one point in time had all of those. Me walking every day has actually mitigated a lot of the pain that I've had associated with all of those things. And it's also really mitigated the amount of Advil or ibuprofen that I take. So again, if you're struggling with the health issues, guys, get active if you possibly can. Hey, Jason, glad to see that you are so active. Thank you, Ray Vaughn. Let me know when you turn to Miami. I will. Gotta be you. Scott Porter. Yes, I do gotta be you. You do gotta be you. Long Rider, what's up, baby? That's my man from New York. Will you share which modeling agencies you use for your regional shoots? I don't use modeling agencies. I dislike modeling agencies for the most part. Modeling agencies are typically there to bilk the models. They don't pay them. With models don't get paid from modeling agencies until 3 or 4 months after the job, even though the modeling agency gets paid. And modeling agencies are typically very, not all of them, there's going to be exceptions to this, but modeling agencies are typically very head in the sky, nose in the sky. I don't know. I've just found a way to do it. And to be honest with you, I like giving opportunities to models who are really out there trying to make a name for themselves. And if I can be in any way a guide or an assistance to them in their path, I like to be able to do that. Where am I right now? I'm at home. I've been trying to stay active in photography, but since COVID-19, I slowed down so much. Yeah, well, I got to tell you guys, walking those 10,000 steps a day, I don't say this to brag, I say because it helps to explain where I was at on the plane. But on the plane ride home, I was in first class and I was sitting in the front row. And that's important because I was trying to get my steps in before the day expired. And so I annoyed all the passengers on the plane, but I walked from the front of the plane back, front, back. I started doing laps in the plane and the flight attendants were like, "What the hell are you doing?" I was getting my steps in and I showed them, I'm getting my steps in, baby. So it was pretty funny, but I got them in. Ever try CBD for inflammation? It really works. It didn't work for me. And CBD and that kind of stuff, I know it's the topical stuff. It's not marijuana. It's the different stuff that you put on, on the outside, the ointment and all that. Yeah, I have tried CBD. It didn't do much for me, to be honest. I learned enough just from your videos, let alone if I was on a workshop. That being said, any interest in a workshop in Nova Scotia, Canada, once COVID is over? Yes, I definitely want to come up to Nova Scotia. I need to go to the land of the Trailer Park Boys and do a video in Sunnyvale Trailer Park. So if you know where they film Trailer Park Boys, I will come up there for free just to try to film something in that trailer park. That would be an absolute riot. Had so many events postponed or canceled. Yep, all of us have. It's crazy. Best lens for boudoir photography. You're definitely going to want a prime. A great lens for boudoir photography is actually like a macro, like a 90 macro. Great lens for boudoir photography. 50, 85 primes, definitely prime lenses. Definitely. I'm at 13,000 plus. 10,000 steps come from Yamasaki Clock in Japan with a device called Mampoke, which translates to 10,000 steps and was a marketing tool that has stuck. Cool. That's awesome. Been watching your videos ever since the beginning of the year. You're a beast. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Keep in mind, we are only getting 1 to 3 cases a day here now. Don't get me started on COVID, guys. I'll go on another rant. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on COVID. If you want to get me started, California has the same cases as Florida, and California is lockdown central with our asinine governor. New York has more cases than Florida, and it's been completely locked down. And keep in mind that Florida has all the old people. Florida has all the old people, like Scott Porter. So why does Florida have less deaths than New York? It's called Cuomo. Cuomo blows. I was telling you guys about Cuomo way back a year ago when I did my documentary. I was telling you all about Cuomo. Cuomo is a creep. I don't care if he's Republican or Democrat. The fact that he sent nursing home patients back, or sent COVID patients back into the nursing homes, is criminal. It's absolutely criminal. And the fact that he lied about the numbers. Oh my gosh. Keep on keeping on. Regards from Scotland. Some of your photographs have filled me with awe and inspiration. Thank you. It's very kind. Have I visited India? I have not, but one of the models that I've worked with quite a bit, Shalini, she's a gorgeous model. She's from India. I've actually spoken about going to India with her so she could like kind of guide me around, and she's totally down for that. So that would be super cool. When am I going to do a workshop out here in LA? Honestly, as soon as they recall our dumbass governor Newsom and get us some real people who know how to run stuff. The A6000 has been discontinued, the tool that started this whole channel. Nope. This whole channel was started on an Nikon. Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. But my first video that went over 1 million views was Six Flags New Orleans, and that was with a Nikon. So yes, me switching to Sony and doing all of that definitely helped propel this into a different stratosphere. But my first big hit was Urbex video with very little models, very few models in the video, and it was with a Nikon, and I'm very proud of that. The other video that was big for me that had nothing to do with Sony was the Camaro video. For those who've watched it, the Camaro video where the Camaro's speeding past me, that was shot with a Nikon D3. So I know everyone associates everything that I do with Sony, and I can understand the reasoning for that. But in all humility and all love, I say to you, nope. Nikon built this channel. Sony continued it. That's the truth. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. They lifted the they just lifted the mandatory mask in Texas. I know they did. That's what I'm saying. So that's another reason why I may hit up Texas too. You're the reason I'm shooting the game-changing Sony A7 III. Thanks for the amazing recommendation. You're welcome. Hello, Catherine Garza. Here in Mississippi, we have everything open and no mask mandate. Yeah, you guys just did that too. Great video. Thank you. Are you still doing any paranormal shoots? Yes, that's actually something we were trying to do at Brushy Mountain. We were in the middle of doing a paranormal shoot, and we were in the solitary confinement cells when the paranormal people, the crazy, insane paranormal people came and got angry with us and wanted us to leave because of the fact that we weren't, they were showing like chairs flying and stuff. And I'm like, give me a freaking break. So that's the whole drama behind Brushy Mountain. So, but you'll still see some videos coming out of that. We had some great shoots there. That's when I started watching the A6000. Yeah, totally. I understand you, Alex. Opened any doors lately? I don't know what you mean by that, Danny, but I love my man, Danny Vaughn. Do you ever shoot with Olympus? I don't. I did do, Olympus loaned me a camera for a while and I utilized it, but I stopped using it because I had maxed it out, and then now Olympus is no longer in business. So adios, baby. Nikon F2 is my first pro camera. That makes sense, Keith. You're older than Scott Porter, or maybe you two are brothers. I love you, Keith. I went to Sony because of you. I got the A7 II and hope to get the A7 III soon. Yeah, it's great. It really is. You guys are laughing your butts off. It's probably because of what I almost said. That's right. There were several Nikon videos. I love that Camaro video. I go back to it over and over, like the one with the shipwreck. I believe you got cut on that one. Oh, man, that's an old one, too. Good job, girl. Yeah, that's an old one. That was an Aruba. Dude, I got so many kick-ass videos coming for you guys. You have no clue. I'm going to drop one tomorrow, so make sure to check the channel tomorrow. Make sure you guys thumbs this video up and thumbs the other videos up and click on the notifications icon, because when you guys do that, it really helps you to get into the algorithms to see it really helps you get into algorithms to see these videos. And so I'm about to drop a video tomorrow that you guys are really going to like. It's more that old school style. It's a longer video. My fans have been asking me for longer videos. You guys tend to like those more, where I take you somewhere. So this one takes you somewhere. It's really fun, and I think you'll really like it. So make sure to check it out. That's right there. Okay, I've met the boys. He's talking about Trailer Park Boys, and the late John Dunsworth Leahy, who was a real stand-up gent. That's awesome, Christopher. Yeah. I love that show. That show cracks me the hell up. Did you ever get any of the Gettysburg footage? No, No, I have not. And he's referring to a paranormal shoot that I did, and I had two individuals film it for me. This was 3 years ago now. They filmed it for me and never sent me the footage. And that's why I never have people film for me anymore, because people do shady stuff. And that's just the truth. So, you know, there's no such thing, my friends, as forgive and forget. There's forgive, never forget. If you forget, you never remember your lessons in life. So it doesn't mean to hold grudges, but never forget what people do to you. Use them as lessons for you to improve yourself and never make similar mistakes. Forgive, never forget. I would love to meet you and talk, or even talk, says Lucas. You are the single first person I watch on YouTube when I got into photography and lighting. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Lucas. That means a lot. You're welcome. I'd love to be able to speak with you too. Oh my goodness, my idol photographer, Rhode Island, loves you, bro. Thank you, Joe Photo. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Car doors like AAA. Oh yeah, yeah. That's another thing, dude. We're in the middle of nowhere, okay? And the model turns her car on, what Danny's talking about. The model turns her car on, and then she closes the door and locks herself out of the car. And so me, Danny, and Joe had to go old school style. I went into an old shack, and I'm not making this up. We have video of this. I went into an old shack out in the hillbilly hills of Tennessee. And this shack, dude, you can't make this up. This shack had clothes that were eaten out by rats, but they had actually hung the clothes on clothes hangers, and it was about 20 years old. This was 2 weeks ago. And so I found a hanger that was metal, but had that plastic coating around it, so it wasn't disintegrated. I took that plastic hanger and went old school. And it's so funny. You watch the girls who are in their 20s, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, they've never seen someone jimmy a door open. It just cracks me up. So Joe wedges the door. I don't even know what he used to wedge it, but he did a good job. He wedged the door, and I'm going old school style, sticking a hanger down there with a loop and yanking the door. And it's so funny. The girls they didn't even know what we were doing. It was so funny to watch that. And I was reminded as I'm doing this, I'm like, dude, you got to teach your boys how to do this, because these are vital skills. We were truly in the middle of nowhere. She had her car running. It was freezing outside. There's snow on the ground. And we're like, dude, this sucks. So if we didn't pop that door for her, AAA wasn't going to come out. So anyway, that was a fun story too. Yeah, there's so much stuff that's happened. It's crazy. What's the best way to sell used gear? Well, the easiest way is to sell it to, it's very similar. It's very similar to how you would sell a used car. You could sell a used car. You could take it to the dealership, and they'll give you, they'll give you 70, 50, 60% of what its resale value is worth, but it's fast and easy. It's kind of like a dealership. You take your car, you sell it to CarMax, you sell it to Carvana, whatever it is, and you get, a certain amount of money back. It's fast and easy. If you want more money, you sell it to private sellers. The problem is it takes a lot longer, and you have to find the right person. So just depends on what route you want to take. If you really want the most money for it, sell it to a private person. But I'll tell you this, Wendy, the market, there's just so much camera gear out there. Good luck. It's a good luck. If I'm done with gear, I just take it and sell it to B&H or Sammy's or Adorama, whoever. What are your thoughts on gray market equipment? I tend to stay away from that stuff. If I am going to buy used gear, typically I will buy it from a B&H or an Adorama, so at least I can return it if it actually doesn't work. Another good one is KEH. KEH is a pretty reputable place to buy used gear. Are you impressed with the A1? I want to pick it up for birding. I am very impressed with the A1. It's a phenomenal camera, and if you got $7,000-8,000 to blow on it, which you probably do, Long Rider. If you've got that much money to blow on it, then go for it. If you guys haven't watched my video, not only do I cover the electronic shutter flash, but it shows the buffer. And I made the mistake of putting a 32 megabyte card in there that was from like 2008 or something. I have all these old cards, and it's only a 30 megabyte write and read per second card. So once I reeled off 69 some odd 70 shots with the first round of raw images in the A1, it took 7 minutes and 30 seconds to write. Okay, 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, once we removed that card, I peeled off another 100 and something images, And then it was much faster, it was 9. And then I switched to a 300 megabyte second card. If you use these CF Express cards, those are like 4 times faster than that. So that would be virtually instantaneous at 30 frames a second. But those cards are about $500. So to have 2 cards inside of an A1, that's $7,000. And then plus tax, now you're looking at over $8,000 just for that camera and cards, not even talking about lenses. So it's a significant investment. Any words on overcoming procrastination? Been with me for months. COVID quarantine is my best friend. Okay, excuse. Yeah, do something that you have a deadline, like you have to do, and work at it every day. I'll give you an example. This 10,000 steps that I do every day, for example, I was only at 1,800 steps about an hour ago, and I didn't want to be at 1,800 steps when I finished the live stream with you guys. And so I knocked off, 2,300 steps on the treadmill just to my right here, right before the live stream. So take it in bites, and keep working at it. That would be my best recommendation for you. What are the best lenses? Catherine Garza says it's Karma. Sure, absolutely. What are the best lenses for shooting portraits? And yes, I know you've mentioned it before in your videos. I shoot with the Nikon D3. Well, excuse me, portraits would be obviously an 85, a 105, a 135, and a 50. Most people don't know that I work on cars. Well, if you follow my Instagram feed, you'll know I work on cars, but I love cars. I love cars. Any plans to drop by Portland, Oregon? Absolutely. I love Portland. It's a beautiful place, and absolutely, I'd love to go by. Fuji, yes or no? Sure. Why not? What I'm curious to mess around with the Fuji is I'm curious to see if what those color profiles are like, and how, if I shoot the color profiles, clearly if you shoot color profiles inside of a camera, in essence, you're shooting JPEGs. You're not shooting RAWs anymore. And so if you're shooting JPEGs, how much latitude do they give you in post? So those simulators are those profiles, I should say, are simulating the effects of film. And so that's what intrigues me the most. And that's one reason why shooting with the medium format cameras, the 100 megapixel cameras, are more interesting for me in that regard. But would I use it for a general purpose work? No, I'd use it for more high-end commercial, very project style type of work. A ghost in a porno room? Oh yeah, exactly. He's talking about Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. They were telling us how they're telling us how there's a room where they showed pornos to the inmates, and then the inmates would get all riled up. Imagine that. Just imagine that. Imagine that there's a bunch of horrible, disgusting, perverted men, and then what you do is you show all of them pornos. They'd show pornos to these guys in the prison, and then they would kill each other. Well, imagine that. You get a bunch of crazy lunatics together, and you excite them in every way possible. They're probably going to start killing each other. So yeah, that's what happened. And then they said ghosts were running around in the porno room at the hotel, at the prison. It's pretty funny. Thank you, brother. You have made the technical side of photography so simple for me. My portrait lighting has improved so much watching from you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, a piece from the hot shoe side of my Allen Chrome transmitter broke off the trigger. How can I quickly repair it? That's a good question. Honestly, if you have all the pieces, I probably would try some super glue. I know what you mean. I've had the sides break off of my Godox quite a bit. By the way, speaking of Godox, when I do use Godox, guys, I've gotten rid of my 8600 Pro. I don't use it at all anymore because it overheats like crazy. I've gone back old school style to the Flashpoint Explorer 600, and that thing cranks. That thing cranks out shots. It's a freaking beast. It's like an old battleship. It just keeps pumping out hits. So that 8600 Pro sucks, but the Flashpoint Explorer 600, good stuff. I buy used gear from Adorama. I thought they'd be great to trade in, but no. I sent 6 lenses and a camera, and they offered $150. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. By the way, don't buy used gear from Adorama. Just to be candid, I've bought used gear from Adorama, and they've sent me duds. So I bought used gear from B&H, and I've never gotten a dud. So be careful with Adorama and used gear. John, he's my man from Florida. He says, you scolded me for having my camera set up with a back button focus. Of course I did. You shouldn't do it. But we were busy filming, so I didn't follow up. Why shouldn't I use back button focus? It's a waste of time. Why do that? The only reason that back button focus existed is because in the past, when focus sucked so bad, you use back button focus to focus and recompose your image. That's the whole purpose of back button focus. So we don't have to do that anymore. All of us have cameras now that actually track people's faces, unless, well, most of us do. So you know, you don't really need to do that anymore. So it's a in Six Sigma terms, me being a Six Sigma black belt, for the 1% of people who know what that is, using back button focus is a non-value added step. In other words, it's a step that is an inefficient step that procrastinates your creative process. Christina, what's up, girl? What's up, baby girl? Rebecca, Ginger Snaps. I love seeing all the ladies on here. This is great. Good question. I'm following at John. All right, good. What is a color profile? There are color profiles on most of our cameras. It'll say like contrast and this and that. Fuji has a bunch of them that are pretty cool that are set to, again, simulate film. It's a look. And so what it's doing is it's think of a color profile as a Lightroom preset. So color profiles on your camera are very similar to a Lightroom preset. So it's pre-editing your image for you. So not if, but when you guys see me use Fuji, which I will in the short term here, when you see me use Fuji, I will be using some of those color profiles to see how good they look, and to also see how much latitude I have with editing them. But if, for example, you are a photographer who doesn't want to edit a lot, a color profile or a camera profile, I should say, will really streamline your editing process, because you won't have to edit as much. The only downside is you won't have as much editing latitude in post-production as you will with a raw image. Jason, can I travel with you? Absolutely. But you gotta supply Diet Coke and Diet Mountain Dew. Sorry, those are my parameters. You want to roll with Old Fedora, you got to have some Diet Mountain Dew somewhere in your vicinity. There's an ostrich sighting in Tennessee. Yeah, for those who don't know, people just around me just do the weirdest things, like Joe Riggs. That's Joe Riggs Photography, guys. Go check him out. Give him a follow. Joe Riggs Photography. He acts like an ostrich, and he sticks his head in trash cans, and he's gonna kill me. He flaps his arms like wings. He's a very interesting individual. But I do love Joe, and I love my man Danny Vaughn. I love Danny. What's up, Danny boy? Are the refresh rates of LEDs as fast as conventional flashes? Is the $500 range suggestions? Well, the refresh rates on rotolights there is no recycle time. It's instantaneous. So what you get from a traditional strobe is more power and horrible recycle time. What you get from an LED flash is less power, but incredible recycle time. So it just depends on the environment that you're utilizing the light. Now, keeping in mind, this is a very important thing for all of you out there to listen to. When you're using a traditional strobe, the light is way too harsh because it's a singular light source that's coming out, boom, just straight right at you. So the problem that you'll have is that you are required to modify traditional strobe because it's too hard. LED, like I'm being illuminated right now, is inherently much softer, especially rotolite, because of the design. The circular design on it, combined with the fact that you're like, what's illuminating me right now are I don't know how many exactly are in the Neo 2, but it is hundreds of little LEDs that are illuminating me, which results in a much softer light. If you use a traditional strobe, it's a much harder light. So yes, traditional strobe is stronger than LEDs, but LEDs don't have to be modified nearly to the extent that a traditional strobe does. Adam's one of my guys too. I love Adam. I had one of the worst customer service experiences of my life with Adorama. I ended up screaming at the woman like a Samuel L. Jackson character. That's awesome, Adam. I love that, dude. I'm glad that you did. If someone gives you bad service, it is what it is. Lionel Seawood, I finally made a live show. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. In Viewfinder, film genre setting. There you go. Are you friends with Huff? He's into speaking with ghosts. Steve Huff? No, he used to do that a while ago. I think he gave that up quite a while ago, if I'm not mistaken. But Rick Rowell, what's up? What's up, my man? I would get a few cases a day. There you go. I don't need a few cases a day, but I appreciate it. Do you use any ND filters? No, I do not, unless I'm doing landscape photography. Only there for, again, only for landscape photography would I use neutral density filters. Otherwise, I do not. I do not. What flashlight do you recommend for painting at night? I used an LED light and it completely messed up my color balance. Well, a flashlight will do that as well. A flashlight is going to appear very cold if you are painting at night. And for those who don't understand what he's referencing, painting at night is where you put your camera on a tripod, you put it on a 20 or 30-second shutter or longer, and then you're in a completely dark environment, maybe except for the sky. Well, the sky is dark, but meaning it's going to expose for the stars. So talking about painting with light, if you are, it's funny, you're taking me back to a very fond memory I had of my buddy and I, Vanden, who has passed away, but we would paint with light, his barn over in West Virginia. So it's a very sweet memory for me. But you set your exposure to expose for the stars because you don't want to have the stars and the Milky Way, the Big Dipper, whatever it may be. You don't want to have those overexposed. So you set your exposure for the sky. But then what you do is you take a flashlight or an LED light or something, and you either put an LED light inside of a car, like an old abandoned car, or you put your LED, or you take a flashlight and you literally go like this and you would paint, and it's called painting, but you're lighting like the side of a barn or a door or whatever it may be. And you can really render some really beautiful results. Again, that takes me back to my Nikon days as well. But to answer that question, the best kind of a light in that scenario would definitely, without a doubt, be, I don't know a brand, but we use mag lights, but you want a strong beam. You want a very strong beam because you don't want that light spreading everywhere. You really want that light focused, more like a spotlight, so you can really position it exactly where you want it and need it to be. But Joe, the ostrich, and you guys should go on to Joe's Instagram page and just hashtag ostrich boy. But but we went to Harbor Freight and bought some flashlights for our freezing shoot in the prison there. But at any rate, no, it doesn't really matter the brand. You really just want a strong beam. Hey, Jason, can I use the Ellen Chrome Skyport Transmitter Plus with my Rotolights? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the brand that's utilized, that I use all the time. And in fact, you're going to see that in the video that I release tomorrow. So make sure to check that out, my friends. Thanks for the feedback, Jason. One day I'll shoot better than you. We'll see about that, Michael. I hope that you progress until the limits of your capabilities. So I'm very proud of you. And I'm very proud of the fact that you're confident enough to state what you just stated. And all I can say to that is, game on, bitch. Ever mess around with Pro Mist for photography? I don't even know what Pro Mist is, unfortunately. Let's shoot, bro, when you're back in town. I'm in town now, but and I'm sure you know me, guys. I will at some point make. It's just the nature of me. I will find something to go shoot. But as of right now, no, I need to get caught up. I have been doing epic shoots, truly epic shoots since August. August really was my renaissance of coming out and really starting to create in a massive way again. And so I have so many videos that you guys need to see, and I just want to produce. It's very special work to me. So you're going to see a lot of that coming out, and that starts tomorrow. Will the A7 III work for football games? Yes, it will, Scott. I honestly stumbled across you years ago as a suggested video, one of your seminars, and you were so bluntly honest in your discussion that I thought, wow, I like this guy. He tells it as it is. Thank you. And yes, I do. I don't like it when people waste my time, so the last thing I want to do is waste yours. That's just the freaking truth. Been following ever since. Thank you. And the fact that you are a Trailer Park Boys fan makes me love you, Christopher. Hi from Chicago, Jason. You rock, boss. Thank you. Rick Rawls says, oh, it's on. It's on, baby boy. Oh, you did the burning steel wool behind a girl in a shoot. It was really pretty. Yes, I did. That was the A7R2, I think that shoot was. That was in the LA River. that our communist California no longer allows you to access. Ugh, California. The Black Pro Mist filter. Hey, what's up, Chris? Chris is going to be over there in Kentucky. I don't know what the Black Pro Mist filter is. I really don't. Going to Alabama Hills in April. Is that in California, Rick? I don't know. I don't know what Alabama Hills is. Are you going to? Are you going to go get raped by some hillbillies? Gosh, I'm on a roll tonight. Woo. I don't know. I have no clue what Alabama Hills is. That could probably be from Eastern Sierra. Speak English, Rick. English. What state? We have 50 states in the United States. Which state is Alabama Hills in? It is Deliverance. Exactly. I think Rick wants to physically accost me, is what I think wants to go down here. So, those thingamajigs. Yeah. And guys, yeah, like Chris was just referencing, we are going to be doing the, that PhotoCon Kentucky in late August. It's going to be awesome. Raped by hillbillies. It's funny to laugh at that, but it's really not. But wow, that Rick, oh my Lord, Rick, what state is this in? I'm going to stop addressing you, Rick. Rick has told me Lone Pine, Eastern Sierra, Alabama Hills. What state? What state is this in? I'm not going to Google this stuff. My wide-angle environmental portraiture stinks. I watch you do it in practice. What am I missing? Squill like a pig, boy. What are you missing? It's what lens are you shooting, Wendy? Is it these topics are ridiculous. You guys are the best audience anywhere. What lens are you using, Wendy? Typically I'll shoot with a 35 or a 20. But wide angle portraiture is very difficult because with wide angle portraiture, you really have to manage everything that's involved in your image. And so definitely keep that in mind when you're shooting. One thing that you have to be very careful of with wide angle portraiture is you have to make sure that everything is in a non-distorted state. And so it's very easy to distort with wide angle. The wider angle you take with the lens, the more potentially, somebody's calling me literally from Santa Maria, California. I'm not going to answer it. I just thought it was funny because it was Santa Maria. But you really have to be careful with the distortion on it. And the way that you can mitigate distortion is through keeping people out of the edges of your image and also making sure that when you're shooting with a wide angle lens, you do not angle the lens up or down. That is going to create massive distortion. So that's another reason why you guys see me shooting. When I do so, I will point the lens and I will keep it at my chest level, and 9.9 times out of 10, that lens will be at the chest level of the subject that I'm shooting, which really mitigates distortion. Geography was not your favorite class in school, was it? Rick, when I grew up, you're really old, Rick. And I mean, at least I grew up in an era where there were computers in schools. You guys had to study Thomas Brothers guides, maps, and all that stuff. I mean, you guys were like Christopher Columbus. You had to really go out and get a degree in cartography. So no, I don't know where those things are, Rick. So if you want me to do something with you, how about throwing a brother a bone and pretending it's 2021 and saying, hey, you want to go to Alabama Hills, California? Then I can Google it. Imagine that. And then I could decide if I want to do that project with you. I have 3 Neo 2s after watching Jason's videos. Good. I hope you're using them. I really do. Cut the sleeves, office jack, and Jason can play the part of Burt Reynolds. Oh my gosh, man. You know what we should do is we really should make a video someday of we should do like a Fedora Nation fans videos. I should like tell everyone I'm going to be here and we're all going to do a big collaborative project. We're going to spend 2 days. We're going to create something crazy, and we could do like our favorite scenes from movies, which would be a riot. It really would be funny, except I'm sure somebody would want to do something awful to me. Like the guy, you guys keep wanting him to put me in Deliverance. So, okay. Hello, sir. Big fan. Question. What's up, North Texas Photojournal? I have an A6600. I'm trying to be a wildlife photographer. Can I get the same results with an A6600 than the A9? Maybe one day I'll get an A9. You won't get the same results. Nope. I'm a lot younger than you, Rick. You're old as hell. But no, comparing an A6600 to an A9 is a sports car. An A9 is like a Porsche. The A1 is like a Lamborghini. An A6600 is like a Camaro. That's probably the best way to put it. Or maybe an A6600 is like maybe not a Camaro. Maybe I'm gonna get in trouble here. Maybe it's like a Chevy Caprice. But I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying, understand what your cameras can and cannot do, and then you won't be disappointed by them, just like people. Can you check out my IG? I have a few posts with the Pro Mist. I'm your Huckleberry. That's the best line in any movie of all time. If you guys don't know what she's talking about, that's from Tombstone, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And that's with Val Kilmer, who apparently in Hollywood is a complete jerk. But damn, he is sexy as hell in those movies, in that movie. And I say sexy as hell. He's just cool, man. And when he says, I'm your Huckleberry, you're going to make me watch Tombstone tonight. I love that movie. It's a great movie. I would watch that movie just for that scene, just for that one moment in that movie. I love that freaking movie. It's awesome. Hello, everyone from the Philip. Well, hello. Well, greetings to the Philip. That's very awesome. That's very awesome. What is this Pro Mist? What is this Pro Mist you guys are talking about? Now you're going to make me go look. What in the hell is Pro Mist? All right, you guys can ask me questions. I'm going to look up this Pro Mist garbage. And when I say garbage, I'm not talking about, it's a Tiffin. Well, that's a negative in and of itself. People are going to be mad that I said that, but Tiffin typically sucks. What does this thing do? What is the effect that it does on it? I'm your Dingleberry. Oh, that's interesting. Fangirl all over again. I love that. I'll look into that Pro Mist. That is pretty interesting, but I typically am not a fan of Tiffin filters, and it's $600 for a Tiffin. Typically, Tiffin have not been very good filters. Let's just be real. Have you been to Tombstone? Yes, I have actually been to Tombstone. I have been to Tombstone. I looked for Val Kilmer. He wasn't there. I silently cried. But no, I have been to Tombstone. I actually did some ghost hunting in the Birdcage Theater, which was really cool. And it's funny, I was filming with an infrared camera inside of there. And, light started hitting the dust as it was flying up. And everyone's like, oh, can you see the orbs? I definitely, and I laughed. I definitely believe in the afterlife. I believe in all that stuff. I do believe it. To me, you can't be religious and not believe in afterlife. I mean, religion is afterlife, so you can't have it both ways. But at any rate, no, it's fun stuff. But we can get into that later. I love my A6600. I can deal with my 11 frames per second, but I would one day love to find out what 20 frames feels like. Thank you, sir. You know what? The honest truth is, North Texas, you probably don't need 20 frames a second. You don't need 30 frames a second. A lot of the camera specs that come out, we don't need, from the massive, huge megapixels to the super fast frame rates. The vast, I'd say 96% of photographers do not need them. So it's more of an ego stroke. And it's an ego stroke for those who don't need it and buy it. And it's a necessity for those who do, but it's not needed by the vast majority of people. Would you consider making a detailed video on using the Neo 2? I'd be more than happy to. I think I have like probably 40 videos out on the Neo 2. But but I'd be more than happy to make something if you thought it would be beneficial to you. Elton Alexander says, I have an 8400 Pro, 200 Pro, and two 862s. What are the best soft boxes for these lights, for those lights for street portraits? I would get, that I shot it in Miami. That Photox Raha is pretty interesting. It's a pretty darn good light modifier, I should say. The only thing about the Photox that sucks is you have to be Hercules to set that thing up. And I'm not trying to say this to be a chauvinist pig or whatever, but unless you're a strong man or a strong woman, don't buy it. It is a bear to set up. It really is. And go ahead and read the reviews on it. It produces great light, and I love the fact that it sets up and the deflector plate stays inside of it. You don't have to remove it like you do with the Westcott versions, but good Lord, you have to really be strong to put that thing up, and it is a pain in the butt. Michael Goodman says, what's up, Jason? Do you think the A7R4 is a good buy in 2021? Not particularly, unless you need massive megapixels. When it came out 2 years ago, that's why I never bought it. So, no, I just think for most people, not all, for most people, it's overkill. The Pro Mist makes light bloom, and it gives photos from DSLR more cinematic look. It helps take away some of the digital look. Oh, well, that's interesting. The only thing that I would say to that is if you're going to put that on the front of your camera, and again, I'm open to using anything. I'm open to trying anything. But if you're going to do that, keep in mind that you could probably do that with your editing. But if you use that filter, you're pre-cooking it. You have no latitude in post. So, it may I don't know. I don't know enough about it, and I'm more than happy to admit that. I need to look into it. But if you use something that's on the front of your camera, then you have no choice at that point. So I'd rather try to find a solution that is in a post-productive state versus something that's cooked into the shot, and I have no options afterwards. Jason, anything planned for shooting in the UK again? Yes, I've spoken to Rotolite, and apparently our good old neighbors over there in the UK apparently things are supposed to start loosening up sometime in the summertime. So as of right now, we are currently planning to get to the UK in October or November. I prefer October because the weather is really never good in the UK. So I prefer to be there in October. I've been to the UK in almost every month, and the more it is in the winter, the more miserable it gets. I was there for a photo convention beginning of November. Oh my gosh, it's cold and it's just miserable. So, but I love the people. I love the people in the UK, and I love all of your country's beautiful. I love shooting there. I just don't particularly love the cold. So, but no, as soon as we can get there, we will. Jason, did you guys record the lighting posing seminar from last Friday in Miami? I wasn't able to make it, and I paid. We did not. We did not record those sessions. I don't record those sessions. It's unfair to the people that do pay, and I'm sorry that you weren't able to make it. I know that always happens. Some people can't come for various reasons, and I understand that things come up in life. But hopefully the videos that I release coming up here soon will help to lessen the blow for you, brother. Google Maps, Alabama Hills, California. All right, just for you, Rick. Rick is an old school style. Like, he's got the porno stash from like Three's Company. He looks like he has like that stash. He's going to kill me, but he's got like this mustache from The Neighbor. I even forget the guy's name because I only watched Three's Company on reruns. Rick watched it like live, but I watched it on reruns. It's fun teasing you guys. Jason, did you guys, having 12 to 20 frames per second will help you take thousands of shots only to keep like 5. That's true. Chris says, with my experience, it only works with best with backlighting. Light wraps work with that filter. I paid $60 for my Sony 2470 lens. You paid $60 for well, you probably got the crappy one, the Sony Zeiss one. That thing sucks. but the G Master 2470 is a much better lens. A lot of people waste those megapixels by cropping their photos because they have the pixels rather than composing properly in camera. That is true. I just got the Raha 26-inch. It's so inexpensive. Have you set it up, Wendy? Have you set it up? Have you set it up? I was late to the mirrorless game, went full in with the R5, didn't know what I was missing until I made the switch. Yep, I've been telling everyone. I was so close to switching to Sony while waiting for Canon to get off their asses. Yeah, well, they finally did, and Canon's got some great stuff now. Yeah, the Pro Mist is baked in, like I was saying. It's funny when YouTubers comparing phone cameras versus Sony mirrorless cameras and saying phone cameras are better. Well, they're stupid. I don't know who said that. I have no clue. I don't watch other YouTubers. I, honest to goodness, do not watch other videos by other YouTubers. I don't. I find most of them boring and uneducated. That's just honestly how I feel. I didn't say all. I found most of them. So, am I switching to the A1? I am not. I am not switching to the A1. No. I stopped using all filters except ND for long exposures and hard daylight. Yep. Hey, Jason, have you tried Leica lenses with Sony cameras? I have not. I don't, would I be interested in it? Yes, but, I purchase and use gear who is constantly producing work. So, that's why I try to really disseminate information to you that I think that you can take and utilize to build your own businesses as well. So, and also that's the way that I produce my videos, in a way that you can, take my experiences and go and do something similar. I always try to make my content as relatable as possible. So I hope that you guys find that to be the case. High speed sync versus ND filters, easy. High speed sync all day, every day, twice a day, 4 times a day, 20 million times a day. ND filters ND filters do nothing. They suck for that purpose. I'm sorry I'm so blunt with that, but ND filters in replacement of a light is awful. It's lazy. It's horrible. So if you guys do that, I'm not insulting you personally. I'm helping you as somebody who loves you. Don't do that. ND filters do nothing to put catch lights in eyes. ND filters do nothing to mitigate bad light that's hitting your subject. ND filters do nothing to shape shadowing and to shape highlights and specular highlights and your shadows. ND filters do nothing except make it darker in your camera. So anyone, anywhere who has told you that ND filters are a good replacement for high-speed sync flash, I will say this unequivocally and without apologies, they are stupid as hell. They are dumb, and they're selling you down a river because they're trying to express to you, trying to convey to you that using ND filters is a better move over high-speed sync. Again, I could care less what you guys shoot from a personal standpoint. In other words, I'm not trying to sell you high-speed sync flashes. What I'm telling you is that is moronic. And when I hear stuff like that, I have a strong opinion about things like that, because I hate when YouTubers give such bad information to people. It's awful. It's awful. I just cannot stand the idiots that exist out there. God, sorry. Sorry, that was really out there. The lens filter was 60, not the lens. Okay, that's better. But if I had your money, I'd buy the G Master. Yeah, that's right, guys. I'm just like Scrooge McDuck, rolling around in money. Jason, when are you coming back to Vegas? LOL Palms Place. I want to go back to Vegas. Vegas is a cool place. I'll probably be back there sometime this month. That's just a guess. Rick Rowell, I'm the rugged, handsome type. Yes, you are very handsome, Rick, and you're a great friend, and I love you, and I appreciate your help. I know I tease you, but you are truly a great friend, and I really appreciate you. Maybe a dumb question, but your take. Will brands ever make a photo camera only? Drop the video. I don't and probably never will. No, I don't think they ever will. It doesn't make sense if you're a camera brand, because it's so much, so much of what they put into a camera for photography is redundant with what you would put into a camera for video. So to be honest with you, if I ran a camera company, I would never make a camera only camera. I would always make it with the video functionality, because you're really chopping off a big segment of the potential market by doing that. And as somebody who has always had a basis in primarily shooting photography, I would never buy a camera that was only for stills photography, because there are so many times that I'm shooting where I just want a little quick video clip, and just being able to hit that record button is really important for me. So I don't see why a camera company would ever do that. I don't think that that would actually be a smart move for them. David Willis says 100% beneficial. Thank you. What would be your best marketing tip for someone starting out in business? Get really good at photography. Make people want you. Get really, really good at photography. People say to me all the time, send me messages. I want to teach workshops. I want to travel the world. And then I look at their work, and their work, I'm just being honest here, and I'm not saying anybody's name, of course, but their work sucks. And it sucks because they haven't put in the time and energy into making their work better. If you don't have a product that somebody wants, how do you expect all the marketing in the world? You can't put gold on a piece of crap, guys. If you want people to want your work, make it something that is coveted, make it something that is unique, make it something that people actually want to buy. So no matter what you do, no matter how good you are at marketing, the Kardashian model only works once. It doesn't keep working over and over and over again. You can't keep having talentless hacks make millions of dollars. That's called Hollywood, and it's called somebody made a sex tape, and that's how they got famous. So if you actually, unless you plan on making a sex tape, which I definitely do not recommend, I would, get good at photography so you can sell your product, and the rest will start to work itself out. Hello. Thank you very much, Jason. Good rant. I'm glad you liked it. What light are you using to light yourself? This is the Neo 2 at 1%. How's the hip doing? The hip is fantastic. Never felt better in my life. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Meet me in Vegas in April. I'll see what I can do. I used one ND and I didn't like the way my photos look, and I end up throwing it in the garbage. Smart man, smart man. I don't know if you're a man or a lady, but whatever you are, male or female, you're smart. I don't say you have to throw it in the garbage, but I'm just telling you, using ND filters and as a replacement for a high-speed seek flash or lighting in general is lazy, lazy, lazy photography. Oh my goodness. I skip Planet Fitness and just open and close my Raha a few times. That's very funny, and it's very true, Wendy. Very funny and very true. It's more than a camera, you're gifted. I love your photography. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I definitely agree, not on saying how great I am, but without a doubt, any photographer, any artist who's creating out there, the real genius comes from your head and your heart. It really comes from your head and your heart. And what comes from your heart should be something that is something that you can give to the world. You should give of yourself when you produce your photography. And I love that I can produce work, and I love that that there are a certain amount of people who enjoy my work, and that means the world to me. I'm very humbled by all of you. I really am. I traded my Nikon Z6 and jumped to the Sony A7R4, and wow, Sony's autofocus is night and day over Nikon. Sure is. Picked up the 90 macro Tamron 78-100. Any recommendations for next lens for portraits? Next lens for portraits. You need you got a 70-180, but the 70-180 that's a crop sensor lens. That's an interesting one. So that's interesting that you say that. And you have a 90, I'd probably get a 50 if that's the case. Stop trying to put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. Yeah. Ignored the Emily question. I guess she's dead. No, she's not dead. Guys, all you have to do is, it's funny when people ask me questions about people and they don't take the time just to go look at somebody's social media. Like, guys, if you're really curious about anybody, go look them up, I guess would be my point. But I don't talk about people who previously worked with me. It's not a respect. It's not, how do we put this? It's not respectful of their privacy. It's honestly nobody's business. And that's just the truth. Did the interview with Dr. Kaufman, CEO of Leica, announced that Leica will be adding video to their cameras? Do you think this will make the brand sell more? I don't know. There's a typo in there, and Leica? I don't know what that means. We'll have to see how many sex tape does. Your sex tape, Adam. Hey man, if it makes you millions, then all the more power to you. Me, a sex tape of me would probably make me lose all of my business. So we'll just leave that one alone. You tested that hip at the prison, ice on the stairs. You're right, I did. Joe's right. There was ice on the stairs, and I fell on the stairs, and the hip was just fine. Same here with the ND, total junk. Thanks, Jason, for being real with us. Love you, man. Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate that. You're George from Tampa. Awesome, George from Tampa. 7800 is full frame. What am I thinking of? What am I thinking of? I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. I've shot with that lens. You're absolutely right. My bad. So the 78 to 180 is full frame. I've actually shot with that lens. Tamron sent that to me as well. But what's the one I have now? 17 to 70. Sorry, that's the one I was thinking of. White line. Jason has answered that question hundreds of times. Exactly, guys. It's been 8 months. Come on. I love you guys, but you guys, I will say this much. I'm the one who's put myself in the public spotlight. That's me. And it's a lot to handle the public spotlight. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, if you haven't been in the public spotlight, you don't understand. I made the decision many years ago that when anyone left my company, I was no longer in any way going to discuss that. And that is out of respect for those people. And that will forever be my stance from this point going forward. And it has been my stance for many years now. You weren't aware of that stance because Emily worked with me for over 2 years. But I don't think people really understand what it's like to have the desire to live a life where people don't know what you're doing. And so that's why it's nobody's business why somebody does or doesn't work with me. That is no one's business. And you need to understand that from a very real standpoint. It's not your business. I know you love her, and I know you love the people that have worked with me over the years, but it's not anyone's business. And for me to be a decent human being, I need to respect the people that used to work with me and honor their desire for privacy. And so I cannot say that any more clearly, and I hope that that really resonates with all of you out there. Hello from the Dominican Republic. What's up, Georgia boy? Jason keeps it real. Yes, I do. Jason Best, hi from Calgary, Canada. What's up, Calgary, Canada? David Vetros Photos. Have you used the Sigma 16-1.4? I have not, but I would love to. The Sigma is a great lens. Well done. Thank you. Ivy, hey, man. What's up, baby boy? Chuffed. You are doing well. Chuffed is a term. If you guys don't know, he must be from the UK because that means they're excited. It means that they're super excited about something. Chuffed, you're doing well. Oh, he is from the UK. Looking forward to your next project. I'm knocking off at 3:16 a.m. here in the UK. Up for work in 3 hours. So thank you for being here, Grimlight Images. Thank you. Have you done planning on doing any workshops in Georgia? I love Georgia. And do you know of any abandoned locations to shoot at? Well, not in the Atlanta area. Atlanta is obviously the biggest hub there, but no, there are great places to shoot there. But no, I'm definitely wanting to get out to Georgia again. Using speech to text. Sorry, the typos meant to say Leica, driving and listening. Totally understand, Nelson. No problem. So with the Leica lenses, I don't think it'll make a big difference, to be honest with you, unless, again, Leica is such a small market of photographers. And again, not trying to be a jerk, but I'm just speaking in real, in real terms here. Leica is really a market for camera manufacturers that, like hardly any working pros use Leica. Now somebody's going to send a link or post a link to this photographer who, to this photographer, that photographer who is a pro. But I mean, Leica is a tiny, tiny percentage of the people who are shooting professionally. So at any rate, it's a super fun thing to think about, but no, I don't think it'll make much of a difference, to be honest with you. Sharpest lens you've run on the Sony and FE90 macro. To be honest with you, they're all really great. I mean, I haven't sat down like DxO Mark and done a freaking sharpness test between all of them, but no, I do really. I mean, that's the great thing about the new lenses, and even the new Canon lenses are really super sharp. But Sony's going to be apparently coming out with some 1.2 lenses, and we'll see if those are sharp. That'll be interesting. I'll always have a Diet Coke ready for you, brother. John always has Diet Coke ready for me. He's the best. I love him. I just got on. Did you buy the new A1? I have not bought the new A1 Stormy Jack. What a cool name, Stormy Jack. It's like a pirate. But no, I have not bought the new A1, and honestly, I don't plan on doing so. There's $7,000-8,000 that I could spend on a lot of other things that would take my money further. What, Jason? This is Jermaine. I never got a chance to ask this question. Why do some people feather their light using a softbox? Well, people feather light. What's up, Jermaine? Jermaine came and helped me out in Miami. It was great. Why do people feather light? It's very simple. People feather light to mitigate the amount of light that is hit on the ground. So when you hear the term feathering light, all they're doing is, instead of focusing the light as you typically would on your subject, people feather light as the shadows get harsher and hit the ground and cause light spills. So feathering light is used for those purposes. Who can actually afford, because who can afford to actually work with one? The A1? Am I dehydrated? You guys have some funny questions. But who can afford to actually, well, no. Am I dehydrated, guys? I've been speaking nonstop for almost an hour and a half, and I did an hour and a half Patreon session earlier today. So when you speak nonstop for almost an hour and a half, it is going to cause your voice to get a little tired. I guess that's what I would put. But who can afford to actually work with the Leica? Not a lot of people. Leica is really a camera brand that a lot of people utilize who, have some discretionary income. I see a lot of people who use Leica who are doctors, lawyers. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, whatever fits your fancy, whatever is cathartic and therapeutic for you. But no, Leica really is about, again, this is the standpoint of a working pro. Why use a camera that doesn't autofocus? Why use a camera that doesn't have video? Why use a camera for a lot of those different things that just, I don't get it. Will Nikon survive? I think ultimately it will not. I do not think Leica will ultimately survive. Nikon will ultimately survive. And for people who say, well, that's impossible. Ensure your voice and your vocal cords. That's funny. But who would have thought that Kodak would go out of business, or Olympus, or Minolta? I know Sony bought it, when they were on their face and failing. But I think Nikon, if I could really get into the heads of Nikon, Nikon is behaving in a manner of a company that is lacking the resources to keep up with the current competitive marketplace. And so I don't think Nikon will survive. And my dad shot Nikon. I shot Nikon all the way growing up. So from a very sentimental standpoint, that's not something I rejoice in. And I don't know when it'll be, but unless they really turn the tide, Canon finally woke up and bought into the mirrorless marketplace and got invested into the game in a very big way. And the way they really invested themselves was with the plethora of lenses that they started putting out. But Nikon, it's just, everything's half-assed with Nikon. There's no full-fledged effort to really make a go of it. And they continue to lose their base because of it. That's just the truth. If or when you come to Nova Scotia, look me up. I'll volunteer to be a mobile light stand if you need one. Thank you, Christopher. Call Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles, and we'll have a party. Don't hear too much about Hasselblad either. Of course not. It's a waste of money. It's a complete waste of money. And the biggest threat to Hasselblad and all these medium format companies are things like the Fuji, and eventually Sony's going to come out with a 100 megapixel plus camera, and Canon will do it too, and pretty much medium format's gone. So adios. Thanks for all the great inspiration, brother. Thank you. Hasselblad equals DJI. Glad I switched from Nikon to Sony last year. Yeah. What's your thought on the Fuji 100S? Um, that's a great question, Henry, and that's a camera I'm actually going to look at utilizing. I mentioned that earlier on in the live stream. That's a camera that I'm going to look at utilizing pretty quickly here. I'm going to try to get my hands on one. But I've been running so hard, guys. For those who have been around me, I haven't been home a lot the last couple of months, and so this is just, I just got home 2 days ago from my trip. So this has been my way to really decompress, and I can't say it enough. I've actually haven't been filming the vast majority of the shoots that I've been doing over the last couple of months, because I have so many that are in the can, so to speak, from earlier or from mid to late 2020, that, last thing I want to do is just keep adding more and more videos. It just gets to be like this huge mountain to climb. And so because of that, I'm definitely going to be putting out some videos. It's going to be a lot of fun. DJI acquired Hasselblad years ago. Yep. Hasselblad's been a brand they've rebranded Sony cameras over the years. They've really tried to make a go of it, but technology, you adapt or you die. It's just the truth. Good night, bro. Gotta run. Thanks. All right. Good night, my man. What new and different photography projects interest you? Stuff that challenges me, something that is something that gives me, again, something that's new. Like when we went to Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, instead of me just typically lighting the way that I normally do, we started lighting in very different ways and trying new things. And that to me is what fascinates me about photography. The thing that really helps stoke my creative juices is truly trying new things and figuring out problems. I love the problem solving aspect of photography. And so in that regard, that's something that I'm really I look at when I do. So when somebody presents me with a project, if it's something that I think can add a new wrinkle to my experience, then that's something that I'm more likely to do than not. I'm going to go for about another 5-6 minutes here, guys. So get in your questions now. What's the next firmware for the Titan X1 coming to unlock the perfect colors for different cameras you use? When's the next firmware coming? I don't know, and but I'm definitely going to be speaking with Rotolite this week, so I can ask him. I can ask him for you. I switched from Nikon to Canon years ago. I always liked the images from Nikon, but the menu on the Canon system is easier in my opinion. Yeah, I think when it comes down to menus, I mean, menus on any camera system are confusing. The menu system on the A1 is completely different than all the other Sony cameras. And so if you're a current Sony user, that's annoying. And so, someone could say, oh, the menu system on the A1 is so much better. Well, not if you've been using Sony for a number of years. Now it's like trying to learn it all over again. So menu systems are menu systems. Once you get to know it, it's like a computer. Once you get to know it, you know where to go. But until you know how to use it and you use it a lot, it is very frustrating. I will grant you that. Which one of your sons will be the next Jason of photography? I don't know. If my sons want to do photography, I'm more than happy to train them in my footsteps. But, I think ultimately what I would love to do more than anything would be to help train the next generation of photographers, influence the next generation of photographers in a way where my work lives on through you guys. And hopefully my work will be remembered. And that's something that I really hope for. That's something I really hope for. Thanks for all your advice. You're welcome. What do I think of Pentax? Pentax will be out of business, just like the rest of them. And that's not a knock on Pentax, but it's just a simple money thing. The whole camera market in general is losing market share and money with the improvement of camera phones. And so, people used to, spend a lot of money to buy a disposable or a pocket camera or whatever, and that would help feed the revenue companies. Those revenue streams have completely dried up thanks to the cameras that are in our phones. And so that's why market share is dropping so precipitously with all of these camera companies, and only the truly strong are going to survive. I just believe that. Do you think the A7 II is still a good camera to get for an upgrade from the A6000? The A7 II is pretty old. I'd say the best one is definitely to go up to something like an A7 III if you can. There's a noticeable difference in technology and performance between the A7 II and the A7 III. Jeff Paris says, "Are you a Rhodolite shill?" No, I am not. I love Rhodolite. I've loved it since it was announced and since it was brought out. Just like Sony, you know, it's funny because I haven't worked as a Sony artisan for 3 years, and here I am still shooting Sony. So I guess it had nothing to do with money, right? Just think about that. In other words, I use the gear that I really use, regardless of any sponsorship, because ultimately my job, my goal is to be remembered as a photographer, not remembered for working for any company. And so I think that my history speaks for my integrity in that regard. When will you be coming back to the New York area? Can't wait to learn from you again. I'd love to get back there. It will come as soon as Cuomo gets thrown out of office, hopefully. My BFF is watching. She asked, who is your favorite Golden Girl? She's in love with Rose, Betty White. Golden Girl? That's a more Rick Rowell question. That's an old show too. That was on when I was a kid, I think. My favorite Golden Girl? It probably would be Betty White. There's that one chick that's perverted in that show. I remember. I can't remember. I don't remember their names, but I know who Betty White is. I mean, almost all of us do, but I would probably be Betty White. Everyone loves Betty White. Titan drone, good night, baby. Good night, baby boy or girl? I don't know what a Titan drone is, but whoever you are, good night. If you're ever in Kentucky and need some cool places to shoot, look me up. I'll be back in August, so let me know. Let me know. Great session, Jason. Have a great night, future Sony guy. Awesome. Thank you, my man. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope these live streams are beneficial for you. I certainly love connecting with all of you on these, and I'm very grateful for all of your support. We are going to be announcing more workshops coming up soon, so I really hope that I'm able to provide a benefit to you. And more than anything, I just want to really articulate and communicate to all of you that I appreciate you. I love all of you. And I'm grateful for all of you. So until next time, keep shooting, never give up on your dreams. Find a regular works for you, and remember, you only have one chance to get it right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.